Hi, and welcome to Employee Payroll Management System developed using MySQL Database in Visual Basic.NET. This is just an overview, and I'm just going to explain how the whole process works. Here we have about 9 buttons. We can print. Let's start with that. Click on print, and there we get the print dialog box appears, printing the data that we have in there. And there we go. The choice is yours if you want to print or not. Just hit the print button if you want to see the data in there and see the similarity. There we go. There, the same employee ID number. Exit out. We can update all the necessary information we have in here. Let's take a good example. Look at the date. The date is 21st. And if we come down here, let's see the date. The date of Casey Jonathan, that's 21st. Okay, let's take care of that. So I'm going to change that to today's date. I think today is 27th of June. So we have just changed that. So I'm going to go to update. There we go. Update is in progress. Click on OK, and there we go. You see the details of Casey is now 27. So, and welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. I'm going to exit out. Okay, so what we need to do now, let's go up here, maybe double click on the form itself, and right there, let's go right up here. Okay, and let's import MySQL here. Import MySQL .data .MySQL client. There we go. I've just imported the plugin, SQL plugin that I added earlier on. And right underneath here, let's do that right underneath public class form. I'm going to declare the following: dim SQL. Let's make up that lowercase SQL com as new MySQL connection. There we go. So that is the very first constructor. Let's create another one again. This other one that'll be for the command. Paste and paste. So I'm going to change this to command and change all of these to command. Right, that's taken care of. Let's take care of another one. I'm going to call that data table SQL. I'll call that DT. That will be data table. There we go. Alright, now let's take care of the MySQL reader, MySQL adapter. So I'm going to change this one to reader, data reader. Now change this to RD lowercase. MySQL as data reader, not as new. There we go. Then this one will be data adapter. And let's change this one to MySQL data adapter. Oh, that's wrong. That should be a D here. Alright, that's fine now. Okay, I have all of those in place. Then the next thing is right underneath here. Let me now start connecting my server. Let's say server as string, that is going to be local host. There we go. The next one is going to be username. Dim username as string as well equals, that's root anyway, I didn't change that. So dim password as string equals KC and uppercase. Yeah, that's it. Right, that's my password. And my database, let's say dim the database itself as string, and the name of my database is called employee DB. There. Okay, those are all my connectors for the database. But before I go any further, let me show you guys the database. Come up here. I suppose you guys know how to use MySQL Database. So right in here, if I click on that, I will now enter my password here. Click open up. And right here, that's the database that I'm calling. It's called employee. Make sure it's selected, and right there just click on that and that should pop up here. Let's do that again. Yeah, there we go. Those are the data that I'm going to be calling. Okay, alright, I believe you guys know how to create this. That's not difficult. If you're having a problem creating your own database, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and I also have a tutorial on how to create a database using MySQL and how to even install it. There's a lot of the tutorial on that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to declare one more string variable. I've just called that ID as string, and right underneath here I'm now going to create a function private sub upload data. Private sub upload data. Now within the private sub upload data, the first thing I want to do is to call my connector, this very one, SQL con, this very one. That will be dot connection string, and the data that I'm going to be connecting to, get rid of that. The data that I'm going to be connecting to, let's say equals, that will be the server. Grab the server, paste that in there. The server equals plus server, add another plus, and the next one is going to be, let's enter, yeah, for the next one another plus sign. The next one is going to be my username, so I've just called that user ID equals username. Paste that there, plus username plus, and the next one, let's copy that, paste that in here. The next one is going to be the password, right, equals password plus password. Alright, then we have the last one, and that is going to be the database. Paste, and just move that way, and first of all copy the database and paste the database here. Database equals, come out here, close the database, and that's all there is to that. Okay, let's see if I press enter, there won't be any error. Okay, that's fine. Right, okay, I think there's an error, so let's come out and just, yeah, that error should go. Okay, that's it gone. Alright, okay, now let's connect the, open up the connector here, copy that and right underneath here I'm going to say dot open and just enter parentheses. Now the next thing is, let me get my SQL command dot connection equals SQL connect, and SQL command dot command text. Now in the case of SQL command text, that will be my SQL statement that will start with, let's say, select all from employee DB. Okay, select all from employee DB. Now that all is selected from employee DB, we now need to read it. So to read that, we'll come down, say dim SQL reader. SQL read, that is equals SQL command dot execute reader. Bring that down. Okay, since we've already declared this, let me just get rid of those. Leave it like that. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is I'm going to call SQL, that will be SQL data, or SQL table actually, dot load, and I want you to just load up my SQL reader, this very one. Load it up, paste that right there. Now we need to close the command, and we'll close the reader as well. Close SQL reader dot close. Now we close the connector. Instead of copy that, and let's just close that here. Paste dot close. And then we now need to call my data grid view. Data grid view. That would be data grid view 1. It's a view. There we go. 1 dot data source equals SQL data table. There we go. Yeah, and that's it. So this should call my database from the SQL developer, this very one. Okay, now we copy this and we paste that on form load. Now double click on the form itself and right underneath there, paste that there. Okay, so have a good look at the lines of code before we run it. So make sure you import your SQL, declare the following constructor. Now let's connect our database. Now right here, that's my function to call my SQL. There we go. So I'm going to run my system now. Click on run. There we go, guys. That is my database uploaded straight on onto the data grid view. However, none of these buttons works yet. This is not working. This works. Refresh is not working. Save is working. 1, 2, 3, 4 works. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's exit out. Before I do anything, let's come in here. You see the data grid view? This. I'm going to select it and let's go straight to the properties. I want to be able to, when I click on any column on the data grid view, I want everything displayed on my system here. So let's go to the event here where we have cell, click, double click on the cell, click, there. And right here I'm going to enter as follows. The first component is the reference dot text equals data grid view one dot selected rows, and that role is 0 dot cells. The very first component is 0 dot value dot to string. There. So that's my very first one. So I'm going to just copy this and let's paste it for the rest. I have about 20 or so. So let's just copy and change things around. Okay, come right down. The next one here is going to be first name. Then we have the first name will be, the cell will be 1. We have surname, txt surname. Then we have address, txt address. Then we have gender, COB gender. Okay, and I've changed the cells. This one is 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I'm going to have to speed this up. And there we go, guys. There, those are the lines of codes. Okay, but to be on the safe side, I'm going to use try cache here. Try cache. I'm going to grab all this cache and paste it right in underneath here. And the message that I need for the cache, let's grab this message here. However, the error message, if there's any error, will be generated by the system itself. All these other ones are just the title, OK button, and information icon. There we go. That takes care of that. If I run it now, you guys will see I'll be able to select any of the column and display every single information, every single record on the components. There we go, guys. So if I select any of this, you see that I'm able to display every single information there. Okay, so that is very good. And let's see if my reset works there. That is fine. So exit out. Yeah. So let's take care of total. Double click on total. There. Now the first thing I want to do with the total will be to declare the following. Dim gross pay followed by deductions, comma, net pay. Then I'm also going to enter period of tax or tax period. That is fine. Then let's just say as double. Now we need to declare the others. Dim, let's say inner city, and comma. Alright, those are my variables in place. Now let's come down. I'm going to call inner city. What we go straight into inner city will be whatever we have in the inner, or whatever we have inside the within allowance. So double dot pause, and what we are pausing, that will be inside txt within or txt width there. Now the next one is going to be the basic pay. So basic pay, that'll be information from the basic pay. Paste that there. We also have, we're gonna have overtime, we're gonna have some other one. So overtime, copy, paste. We have other payments there. Now let's change this to overtime. No, we change this first. That will be salary, basic salary. Let's just say TFC B. There we go. Basic salary. Then the next one is overtime. That will be TXT O. And finally we have TXT other payment. TXT other payment. There we go. Now we need to work out the gross pay. Put that there. So the gross pay is going to be adding all of this together. So inner city, that's your allowance for living in the city, plus your basic pay, plus whatever overtime you may have carried out, plus whatever extra payments there. That gives you the gross pay. Now LBL gross pay, there we go. The text by the label dot text equals, let's convert that to formats currency, and that will be the gross pay itself. There we go. So that takes care of that. Now let's work out the tax. The tax, pension, and the tax, pension, student loan. So tax, pension, student loan, and NI payments. Copy all of that. This is tax, pension, student loan, national insurance number. Okay, come in here. The tax is going to be everything we have in here. Let's just use, instead of using this, I'm just going to make it clean. The gross, that's equals this, multiply that by maybe 9. Yeah, let's just base it on 9, and then we divide by 100. That should give us the tax. You can use whatever percentage you want, that's your own choice. Pension, okay, let's pay a lot of pension. We'll make that maybe about 12. Student loan, that's just a loan, so you can make that maybe about 5 or 4, maybe 5. Then we have national insurance, make that about 3. There. Now these are meant to be my deductions. Those are my deduction. At the same time, I would like to display it. So let's come in here and just say deduction. That will be LBL. Deductions dot text equals. Let's format the whole lot. And we add up everything. So that's going to be tax. Now let's do it this way. Let's just, I will use the deduction later on. Okay, so let's come in here, variable deduction, grab variable deduction, paste that in there, and all of this calculation will be deduction equals all of this tax plus pension plus student loan, and finally plus insurance, national insurance. There we go, paste there. Okay, that takes care of deduction. Now let's come down here. We now need to display every single deduction separately. So we start by saying LBL tax dot text equals whatever we have in here. So I'm going to grab Let's copy this, but this is for tax. That's tax. Then we have student loan and so on, so we'll grab this as well. LBL, that will be pension. Paste. The next one is LBL student loan. Paste. LBL NI payment. There. Now let's change details. So that is for pension. This is for student loan. The next one, student loan, and finally NI payment. Copy and paste. Okay, that's fine. Now we want to work out net pay. Let's grab this net pay, and the period, I'm going to be multiplying that with something, so let me just copy both anyway. Come right down here. We need the net pay there. For the net pay, we're going to have to say net pay equals, we need to deduct gross pay minus whatever we have inside deduction. That takes care of that. So we can then say LBL net pay dot text equals, let's get it formatted, open a bracket, and that will be net pay. There, net pay is worked out. Now for the period. So the period of payment, this is June, so June is 6. So in that case, we're gonna say double dot parse whatever we have in txt. So that means we must enter something there. Tax period dot text. Whatever we have in there. Okay, we're gonna convert that. And here, let's say LBL taxable dot text equals, we get that formatted, so paste that here and just enter the period in there. And right underneath here, we will now say the pension, the pensionable dot text equals all of these multiplied by pension. Paste, open up, and multiply that by pension. So that will work out the pensionable. While the taxable itself, whatever we have in there goes in there. Let's multiply that by tax. Alright, so that should take care of total. So let's run it and see how that's going to work. So have a good look at the lines of code for total. We're still going to have to come back to total to add up the database so that the details or what the value we end up with will be entered or will be inserted straight onto the database. So let's run it and just see how that looks like for now. There we go, guys. So I'm going to enter your waiting allowance there, and let's assume that's the wages per month and maybe over time. What about this? Okay, instead of me highlighting, I can do something with that. Alright, let's make sure the tax period is selected. Okay, then come down here and select total. There we go. Alright, so you can see the deduction and the gross pay. Maybe I should move gross pay up, deduction here, and bring this down. Okay, that's it. So the total is working. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this second part. I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.